welcome to humanity's Vanguard HFY and Sci-Fi stories, where the galaxy learns why humans are never underestimated twice. The alien officer struck the human Marine in front of the entire station. 3 seconds later, the room understood why humans terrify empires. The Convergence Hall of Arcteron station had been designed to intimidate. Its vaulted ceiling curved like the ribcage of some extinct colossus, layered with shifting holographic constellations meant to remind delegates how small they were beneath galactic history. 74 species occupied tiered platforms around the central dais, each surrounded by guards, translators, and cultural observers. At the very center stood a single human in dark combat dress, boots aligned, posture rigid, hands folded behind his back. Lieutenant Aaron Cole, Orbital Marine Corps. He felt every eye on him. Humans were new here to new, according to most. Too loud. Too violent. Too recent. Supreme Enforcer Karzan of the Velothi Dominion rose from his platform, his armored bulk scraping against the metal as his 4 eyes narrowed. "This is the species you wish to grant observer status?" He rumbled. "The ones who still resolve conflicts with projectile weapons and brute infantry." A ripple of alien amusement moved through the chamber. Cole did not move. He had been briefed, warned, and prepared. Humanity had sent him not to speak, but to stand. And sometimes standing was enough to start a war. Karzan descended to the floor with deliberate slowness, each step a declaration of dominance. The Velothi were bred for conquest-dense skeletal frames, reinforced joints, and reaction speeds that outpaced most carbon-based life. He stopped less than a meter from Cole, looming, heat radiating from his armor. On Velith, Karzan announced, "Disrespect is corrected immediately." Without further warning, his open palm struck Cole across the face. The sound cracked through the chamber like a ruptured bulkhead seal. Several delegates recoiled. The force would have shattered bone in most species. Cole's head snapped sideways. Blood traced from his lip. His boots slid half a step, then stopped. He remained upright. Silent. Slowly, Cole turned his head back to center. His eyes were steady, calculating, unreadable. "Strike received," he said evenly. A murmur swept the chamber. Karzan's mandibles flared in rage. "You dare remain standing?" His arm drew back again, this time with lethal intent. Velothi combat strikes were designed to pulp organs, not discipline subordinates. Cole shifted his weight. The room leaned forward. Somewhere, a diplomatic channel silently closed. The next 3 seconds rewrote humanity's place in the galaxy. The first second belonged to preparation. Cole's hands came up not in panic, but precision, catching Karzan's descending limb at the joint, redirecting momentum instead of resisting it. Human combat doctrine emphasized leverage over strength, anatomy over pride. The second was adaptation. Cole stepped inside the Velothi's reach, close enough that the alien's superior limb length became a liability. His elbow drove upward into a narrow seam beneath Karzan's throat, plating a respiratory convergence Cole had memorized weeks earlier from xenophysiology briefings. The roar cut off instantly. Surprise registered across 4 alien eyes. The 3rd second was decision. Cole dropped his center of gravity, twisting, pulling the larger body forward as gravity did the rest. His fist struck once precise, controlled into the neural junction at the base of Karzan's skull. Not brutal. Final. The Enforcer collapsed, armor ringing against the floor. Silence followed, absolute and total. No one moved. No one spoke. Cole stepped back, returning to attention, blood dripping onto polished alloy. He did not look at the fallen alien. He did not need to. The chamber had just witnessed something far more terrifying than violence. It had seen efficiency. Security alarms finally wailed, too late to matter. Medical drones hovered, scanned, then withdrew. Karzan was dead. Not from superior strength, not from superior weapons. From study, from patience, from a species that treated preparation as survival. Elder Vale, one of the founding council minds, descended slowly from the upper tier, his translucent form pulsing with bioluminescent patterns of astonishment. "Human," he said, translator chiming softly, "you neutralized a Velothi Supreme Enforcer in under 3 seconds." Cole met his gaze. "Yes, Elder. You had no prior combat experience with his species, correct?" Vale's glow shifted. "Explain." Cole inhaled, steadying himself. "Humans assume every opponent is lethal until proven otherwise. We study first. We adapt fast. And when threatened." He paused. "We finish fights quickly." Vale turned to the chamber. "Do you understand what you have witnessed?" Silence. This species does not rely on dominance displays. They do not posture. They prepare. They weaponize knowledge. The delegates watched Cole with new eyes, now not as a primitive, but as a warning. Humanity had not arrived to beg for a place among the stars. They had arrived already dangerous. The vote was swift, uneasy, overwhelming. Humanity was granted full operational membership effective immediately. Not as equals yet, but as allies no one wished to provoke. As the chamber emptied, Vale approached Cole one final time. "Were you afraid?" he asked. Cole considered the question. "Terrified," he answered honestly. "But fear doesn't stop humans. It focuses us." Vale inclined his head. "Then the galaxy will need to adjust." Cole was escorted out, medics finally tending to his injuries. Across the station, reports were already being transmitted, flagged with urgent priority. Human combat units were classified. Engagement protocols were written. Threat assessments elevated. Somewhere in Velothi space, commanders reviewed the footage in silence. 1 human. No weapons. 3 seconds. At the edge of known space, something ancient stirred not in anger, but in caution. Humanity had crossed an invisible threshold. Not with fleets, not with speeches, but with a single act of disciplined violence that revealed a deeper truth. Humans were not the strongest species, or the fastest, or the most advanced. They were something worse. They were survivors who learned faster than fear could spread. And the galaxy had just learned the cost of striking first. If you want more stories where humanity terrifies the stars through intelligence, courage, and brutal adaptability, subscribe to humanity's Vanguard, HFY, and Sci-Fi stories. The galaxy is only beginning to understand us.